Welcome everyone. We look forward to this training session with you all today. I just want to say thank you for your continued support with AAPEX during these times. We look forward to hosting a wonderful virtual AAPEX experience. And with that said, I'm going to introduce Joel Edwards, who is the Customer Success Manager with GRIP. So Joel, take it away.
Thank you. I appreciate the introduction. Thank you both, Gary and Kelly, for facilitating this. Everyone, my name is Joel Edwards. As Kelly said, I'm just going to reiterate, I am a Customer Success Manager here at GRIP Events. So you can see GRIP as the people facilitating the networking and virtual event function for AAPEX. So today, what I want to do is not only show you our platform, but cater this call to give you best practices as well. I want this event to be successful. I want you all to be successful. And this is how I'm just going to show you basic functionality, what you need to do to make sure you have the best success at this event. It's a new virtual world, new technologies, new ways of meeting. We're just going to make sure you have this best set in mind so you're set to go. So what I'm going to do right now is explain this screen you're looking at right here. This is the recommended for you page. In terms of networking, this is like your home page, right? Our goal is for you to do a good amount of things on our platform, but the most important by far is going to be networking. And it all comes down to what we want you to be able to find people to have meetings with virtually. So I'm going to explain what each one of these means. I'm going to start by telling you what you need to do to make sure you're successful at this event. So the first thing you're going to want to do is look at this home page and then click on this icon right here to go into your profile. Now, just like any network that you use, you're going to have your own proprietary profile and you're going to want to fill this out. This is how people are going to see you online. This is how you are going to be represented. And this is how you're going to land meetings and make connections. So in this area, you're going to want to make sure all your personal information is all set. First things first, make sure you have a photo. It is possible for you to navigate the event without one. I advise against that pretty strongly. I want you to be able to go in, find a photo that works for you, upload it to the platform, and save it. Outside of your picture, these three fields right here are the most important parts of your profile. So your name will be in there. You can just confirm that it's spelled correctly. This right here, your headline, is the only other field that someone can easily see when they're scrolling through the platform. So if I went back to that recommended for you page and home page and let this load, you see lack of pictures here and you see this where it says event attendee. That's your headline. If I'm just scrolling through freely, this is all people are going to see. So if I don't have a photo, if I don't have a headline here, they're just seeing my name, how I'm defined in this platform, and that's it. In your profile, you can fix that by adding that photo and having that headline speak out. For example, I put my position, my company, and just a tagline after it. You don't have to put exactly that. I've seen people put inspirational taglines, something about your industry, something about your role specifically. Use this to grab people's eyes as they're scrolling through the platform. Somewhere around 80 characters is perfect. It's easy for people to see. It'll show up right here underneath your name. Underneath headline, these fields, job title, company, and location, while they don't appear readily in that profile as people are scrolling through, they will be in your profile, one, and then two, these factor into search. So if people are looking for you and they are looking for someone who may work at this company or someone who has this CSM title or based in DC, they can manually search for these terms. They can also filter by these terms as well when they look for you through lists. If you have these filled out, you're giving people more channels to find you. Also, which I will explain in detail, one of the main ways that GRIP pushes networking is through artificial intelligence. So you filling out your profile gives us more data to base recommendations off of. And again, I will get into detail with that. Lastly, your summary. Your summary, Just be transparent. It doesn't factor into search. It doesn't factor into the AI searching. Your summary is really for you to fill out for profile purposes, for aesthetic purposes. So if you did have a blurb about you or your company that you want to show in your profile, feel free to paste that here. When people click and see your profile, when they are ready to schedule meetings with you, they have the ability to read through that. It's just a great way for people to find out more information about you. When you're done, hit save. All your details will be saved. It's readily editable at your leisure. So you have a good amount of administrative actions you can take on your profile, from changing your email, your password, managing your notifications. By far, the most important one on this tab is going to be managing your availability. This event, when you can network, those dates are already set. And when you get into the platform, you will default to being readily available, openly available. That's how everyone comes into the platform. So if someone finds you, they can book something on, they can request to book a meeting on your schedule. So someone can request to book a meeting at one of these times. Proactively, it's best for you to get into your profile, manage your availability, just in case you know for sure there are certain times or days that you do not want people to meet with you. You can mark whole days as busy, or you can mark specific slots as busy. Whatever works for you. When you do this, no one's notified. It doesn't reflect somewhere negatively in your profile. This just means that if someone finds me and my whole Tuesday's blocked off, they just have less options for booking time with me. They don't get a why, they don't know what I'm doing that time. They just won't be able to see these as available slots. Also, for events that span across multiple time zones. So if you are dealing with people who live 6 hours ahead of you or 6 hours behind you, this is also a good tool for you to block off those times that just aren't suitable for you. If you don't want to have a meeting at early in the morning or super late, you can block that off ahead of time so you'll never even get requests during that time. So I highly suggest you check this out. After you set your profile up, after you put your picture in and your details, make sure your availability is good to go, and then save it when you're set and you're ready to move on. So again, most importantly in your profile, set your information up, set your availability up, and then you're good to go. Outside of your profile, what I'm going to do now is scroll up to the right and click on something called Teams. So when you click on this as an exhibitor rep, it's going to ask you to create a team name. And we base that on your company. So when I came to this AAPEX event, I came as as Joel Edwards, listening to profiles. I'm also a representative of GRIP. So my company is in the database as well. Since we are using this tool called Teams, I have my own personal experience, but now I have the ability to have to experience AAPEX with my peers. And I'll explain that right now. Everyone who comes, attendee, exhibitor rep, everyone has their own profile. They'll be able to book their own meetings on their own time, they make their own connections. That's everyone. Exhibitor reps have something added. Normal attendees can't see this. This is a tool that you can use to walk into this event with a team view, and I'll explain that now. So where we set up our own profile, what exhibitor reps can do outside of what attendees can do is have a company profile. So since I'm representing GRIP, I have the ability, and you'll have the ability, to build out your company profile as well. So not only can someone find me in this platform, they can find my company too, and they'll find me as a representative of that company. So I need to make sure that if they do find GRIP, I need to have all my products in place. So what I'm showing you right now is data fields. When you're filling out your company profile, very similar to when you were filling out your own profile, you have the ability to select specific values about your company to help people find you. So for example, what products and services do you provide? You'll basically see that and scroll through this list and take your time. We'll let you know at the top, add as many as you like. You can come in here and say, this is what we provide. Update. These are the categories we provide. I can select these and I can update. Take your time. You're going to want to go through and really know what products and services do we provide? What categories do we provide, folks? What brands? And you can type in values here. Just like we were filling out location on our profile, you're going to be filling this out for your company. And it's the same effect. If someone's looking for grip, they can find me. However, if someone doesn't know about my company, but they know they're interested in AC charging kits, fuel additives, and they're searching for those terms, they can find this as well. And as attendees come in and they start interacting, and exhibitors start interacting, and they're showing interest in things that we offer, that increases our chances of being recommended. So you're gonna wanna go in and make sure that you have the right products down, the right services down, the right brands down. Same thing with location. Where are we located? Do we wanna add a summary just to build up our profile, bulk it up? When you're done, you save it. Now your company has information as well. So that's first in teams. The big thing is not only do I have my own profile, I'm watching over my company profile as well. On top of that, you have the ability to go through GRIP with team members. So you can invite people that are going to be with you at this AAPEX show to go through this with you. You have the ability to put in their first name, their last name, their email, their job title, and their role. The roles on these teams aren't too different. Most of these people can do the majority of the same things. However, anyone who's an admin, that's someone who's doing things like editing profiles for other team members, changing roles for other team members, someone who just does want more administrative control. Now I'm going to explain what the team actually does. So if I do invite other GRIP team members, if I have other people working with me at this event and I invited them to be at this team, here's what we're doing. In GRIP, anyone can have their own meetings and they go through that on their own. When we have team members, we have the ability to create meetings for ourselves and our other team members through this portal right here. So I can book meetings for me. If my team members join, I can book meetings on their behalf as well. All I do is go through it, find a guest, find a date, a time. The location is going to be a virtual meeting room every time that we provide. You don't have to worry about that. And then request a meeting. Any meetings that I request, or I request for my teammates, or someone else requests of us, will all list on this calendar here. So while every single person, including you all, every single person has their own calendar in GRIP, everyone, the people who have access to Teams will have a second calendar where they can manage and monitor their teammate schedules as well. So this is a good way to say, you know what, if my Tuesday is really busy, I can have one of my team members take one of these meetings, or schedule a meeting for one of my team members, or I can focus on booking meetings for someone else at this time. If Wednesday's open, we need to get active. We need to figure out why we don't have any meetings on Wednesday, so on and so forth. This is where you'll have strategy come into play. All that will be listed here. And as your team members join, it'll be color coded, so it's easy for you to track. You can also filter this by whether or not it's scheduled, pending, it's awaiting responses, or decline. And I'm going to explain all of that in detail. So that's directly in reference to your meetings that you're pushing out. One of the biggest added bonuses of Teams, period. You're not just looking at your own takeaways from this event, your peers as well. On top of that, you have the ability to use a smart calendar. In GRIP, you proactively find meetings, right? So people can also do that. You can wait for people to book meetings with you as well. But for the most part, you're finding individuals in the platform and booking meetings. With a smart calendar, I can send this link to someone else and have them book a meeting on my behalf. It's basically like sending someone your Google Calendar information or your Outlook information and telling them to book a meeting on your behalf. It's the same thought process. I send this out, someone looks through my schedule, books a meeting, and they're good to go. You will have one for your entire team, and each team member will have their own personal calendar link. An easy way to get that out. Inbound leads, super important. I'm going to explain the networking controls in detail, but for team members, the added bonus of being an exhibitor rep who has access to teams is you can take advantage of this tab. Normal attendees don't have this. As people are showing interest or wanting to connect with me, I could find that for myself, and any individual user in GRIP can find it in the platform. However, now that we're using Teams, if there are 4 of us on this team, we can all see that Tom is interested in meeting me. We can filter by specific team member, or we can check for everyone. Also, we can see if people are viewing our profiles. Are people viewing GRIP? Are they viewing our other exhibitor profiles? We can see that all in inbound leads. The thing to remember is it is dynamic. These profiles don't just sit here. Once I see that someone's interested in me, if I request a meeting or perform any engagement actions, they will disappear from my inbound leads. The thought process is we remove them from the inbound leads. They're now a contact or they're on our calendar. The point of this list is to see and act. We are seeing people look at us. We are seeing people view us. We need to act on this to make sure we can get meetings booked and build our connections. Always in inbound leads. So as these actions take place, the name disappears, you want more to come in. You will also have the ability to take advantage of a company chat. Everyone in GRIP can chat individually, everyone. However, using Teams, your company has a chat as well. That means an attendee can find your profile and chat with you, or your company profile and chat with you all as a whole. Anyone who has access to your team portal will be able to answer these company chat messages. The replies will all reply as the company. As people do start chat chains with you, they build up here. You don't get personalized notifications for this, so best case of success is for you to make sure you're going in here and checking periodically. Outside of that, contacts. This is the end result for your actions. We want you to be able to fill this list out. Any meetings you book, any connections you've made, they're going to stack up here. The goal is to build this list out from a team point. You want as many names in here as possible for meetings and connections. The reason being, when it's all said and done, you can export that list with you. You can export all of your meetings that you've had that were accepted. This is a spreadsheet of every successful meeting you had, or we can export all of these contacts. When you export, one thing to keep in mind, we do not share emails on behalf of users. If you do want to take someone's contact information away, you will have to proactively ask them. So be it phone number, email, we won't share that. You will have to pull that. But if you do have that, all you do with a click of a button is generate your CSV file, pull your contacts out. So when you do get to GRIP, after you set your profile up here, this is where most of your action is going to take place. Setting up meetings, making sure you're checking through your inbound leads, periodically checking your company chat. And then when it's all said and done, these contacts we've built out, great. Let's export them and take this offline. So again, that's your profile, your company's profile, and your team portal. So they're set up. We know how we're going to go about using Teams. Great. Outside of Teams, however, I can monitor GRIP solo. I can go through this and meet people. That's the point of this. So I'll show you how that works. This list right here is our recommendations list. Based on how your profile is set up, these are names we suggested for you to meet. We saw your location, we saw your company name, your headline, Tom, Sarah, Jeff. These are people that GRIP thinks I should meet. as I'm going through this, the goal is for you to engage with this list. If you skip, the name disappears and it goes here. They're not notified, they're not deleted. I'm just saying I'm not interested in this profile. I can always go back. If I show interest, they leave this list. Anyone I show interest in, they are notified that I have clicked interested. What happens is, on the other person's end, I show up that I'm interested in them. Interest is not a prerequisite to having meetings. It is a quick way to make connections. You don't have to do this first. If someone's interested in me or I'm interested in someone else, and they go to this interested in you list, they will see our profile. If they click it back, you will see this screen. That's a handshake. Various things I can do from this stage. I can just close this out and go back to the recommendations list and keep on networking, or I can go to connections. Anyone that I show that shows mutual interest will land here. Anyone that I have a successful meeting with will land here. So again, this is your own personal view. This information, my teammates will see this too. This is my personal view for me, just looking at my own connections. If you're looking at the recommendations list, when I hit show interest, when I hit skip, and when I request meetings, the names will continue to disappear. New names populate at the bottom. Every time I show interest or skip, our machine is learning. If we see that you're skipping a type of attendee or are more interested in another type of attendee, we're going to provide you better recommendations. And that's the goal of this list. The goal is for you to interact and for us to replace and resend more recommendations. That is the driving force, using AI to learn about your preferences so you can get better recommendations. However, you don't have to look just like that. You can search for people by name, by terms. So I put event attendee. People can search by brands. That's why it's important to have the profile filled out. Various ways, various terms I can use to search. Lastly, so you can use the recommendations list. We can search by term or by name. We will have actual lists in the platform as well. So there'll be a list of attendees, exhibitors, exhibitor reps. We want to give that third option to make navigating that much easier. So think of it this way: if you're looking for someone else or someone's looking for you, they can come to this list and everyone's listed in alphabetical order. However, they can also filter this list. If I want to find it by company, job title, location, I can filter this to make my search easier. So there are various ways for people to find you and for you to find others. Of course, the best way to prepare yourself for this is making sure your profiles are filled out and that all of your information is in there, it's accurate, and it really speaks to who you are and what you do.
Hey, Joel, this is Gary.
Hey.
We've had some questions in and wanted to make sure that you showed how to upload to the company profile also, if you have not covered that.
Oh, sure. Oh, was the company profile's here. So that's in Teams that we went through. So on top of filling out your company information that we went through, you may have the ability to upload effects as well. Any collateral, any links, anything that you upload to this company profile will happen here. So it's you, again, going to your profile first, going to your team's profile, scrolling down here to company profile, and filling this out. Any uploading will happen here. The fields will be here. So it'll be links, and all you will do is paste them here in your team's page. Company profile right here. Is that helpful, Gary?
Yeah, that's great. And we'll take more questions later as they come up, but just want to make sure you cover that. Thanks.
Got it. Thank you. So to reiterate, your recommendations list will be here. You can search for people manually, or you can find people in this list. When it comes time to have a meeting, once you find a profile, this button's always the same, request a meeting. When you're ready to request a meeting, you see that person's profile information here. And you look on the right, the meeting details here. So all you have to do is go through these final steps. Here's a person's name. I select the date. Not only will you select the date, you select the time as well. 30-minute increments. You do not need to provide any third-party software for the virtual meeting room environment. We embed all of our virtual meeting rooms on the event for you. And for each invite that you send, you can send an icebreaker just to say hello, or just to get more information about who you are, person. Underneath that, we have a pending meeting limit. I'll explain what that means right now. This action is a meeting request. I sent this off. It hasn't been accepted yet. It hasn't been declined yet. I don't even know if the other person has seen it. It's a meeting request. Nothing has happened yet. The pending meeting limit means I can only send a fixed amount of requests at a time. So the pending meeting limit is 5. If I sent 5 requests like I just did, if I did this 4 more times, one right after the other, and no one has responded, and no one has gotten back to me, I have to wait or cancel one of my meeting requests. So one, if I canceled one of those, I got one back. Or if someone accepts or declines one of those meetings, I get one back. It's a way to gate the meeting request function. Once you get the hang of it, it's pretty simple to request time. You just go through those 3 steps I showed and hit send. That meeting limit just limits the amount of times we can do that over and over and over again. It has no effect on the total amount of meetings you can have during the event. There's no effect on incoming meetings. So if people are looking for you and reaching out to you, no effect on that. It's really about the meeting request itself. As you send meeting requests or as you receive meeting requests, you will receive notifications here. This bell will continue to fill up as interactions happen in the platform. Not only will you see notifications here, this schedule is where all your meetings are. On top of that, you will see emails as well. You'll get a variety of emails. You'll get meeting request emails. You'll get meeting confirmation emails. So if someone sends you a meeting request, you can accept it from your email. You won't even have to be in the platform. You can accept it from here or your email. When the meeting has been accepted by both parties, it confirms, and then you get a link right here to upload this to your personal calendar. So if you're using Gmail, it goes to your Google Calendar. If you're using Outlook, it goes to that calendar. So you will receive notifications inside and outside of GRIP just to make sure that you're on top of things. So the last part of the meeting process I want to show you is important. As you're sending these meeting requests, this one has been sent, it's finished. I have my time, I have my location, we're good to go. Underneath all of this, there's a button that says Add Invitee. If I click this, I have the ability to invite other guests at this event to this scheduled meeting from 11 to 11:30. All I have to do is type in their name. As I type in names, the system will start to search and then autocomplete. Know who you want to invite to this event, to this meeting, because once you send this out, you can't remove these individual attendees. You can't edit that. You can only cancel the meeting outright. So it's best to know you want both Johns to be there. You can add up to 10 names in this box at a time. Then you have to invite them. If you were to invite 10 more people and click invite, you can click this button again and add 10 more. The largest meeting you could have on our platform is for 50 people total. So you can think of that as a tool to where if I was reaching out to Tom as a client and I knew I wanted one of my other reps to be in here with me, it's at 11:30. I can say, you know what? I want one of you to be here. I'm going to send you a message so you know, hey, this is a potential client. Be sure to be at this meeting. And they'll be invited to this time slot as well, 11 to 11:30. Once one person confirms, one recipient has to confirm, that's it. Then the meeting room is set. All we have to do at that point is go to our schedule and wait. Whether we are having a meeting with one other person or with multiple people, this virtual meeting room will open up 5 minutes prior to your meeting start time. Period. It's not waiting for a particular person. It's not waiting for any code or login process. Once the meeting has been confirmed, it will display like this on your calendar with a white background. Once it's 5 minutes prior, this virtual meeting room will open up, and then each recipient will be able to go in at their leisure. All meetings will show in your local time. So you won't have to do any math or figure that out if someone sent you a meeting from another time zone. It's reflected in your time here on the schedule. You can also filter this list by dates or meeting status. When this meeting room opens up, all you have to do is click this to go in. You have the ability to camera on and off, microphone, share your screen. You have the ability to chat in here as well. Anything I sent in that first request, any chat I sent there, would show up here. Anything we chat in here, if we shared links, contact info, it saves and it stays in our one-to-one chat outside this video meeting room. So nothing deletes. I have the ability to close and go in as often as I want to. That doesn't close the meeting for the other person or other people. There are multiple people in there. You're free to go in and out as you see fit. However, when I'm in this environment, I don't receive any notifications. So it's good to come out every once in a while to check out what you have on your schedule to make sure you aren't missing anything. This meeting is set to go to 11. At 11 o'clock, you are not kicked out. You're free to stay in this as long as you want. We don't boot you out of the meeting room. However, again, no notifications will come here. So if I have a meeting right after, I'm going to want to reach out to the person maybe that I'm having that meeting with, just to say, hey, I'm running a little bit late. If I leave, once 11 o'clock hits, this button will disappear and the meeting is done. I can't get back in. Once the meeting is done, it'll appear here. I have the ability to rate it. I can say whether it was good, whether it didn't happen, or whether it was bad. Once I rate this email with this individual, I can request another meeting with them, or I can go back to my schedule and see what else I have on for my plans. Always check this list. You don't want to miss meetings. If you send a response for someone and they are not replying and you don't want to miss this slot, you can reschedule it. Or you can outright cancel it. That frees up your slot so you can now book a meeting with someone else. You have up to 5 minutes prior to the meeting to cancel it or reschedule it. Keep that in mind. If I'm waiting for someone to get back to me about a meeting time, I can't do anything else with that time slot. So it's good to reach out. It's good to just go through your schedule so you don't miss any other meetings with anyone else, so you can get back to this. Again, everything that we're doing is pushing for you to have more connections. We want you to have more meetings. We want you to show interest. We want you to find as many suitable people for you as possible so you can go through your recommendations and engage. Not just for you, for your teammates as well. We want you to have as many contacts as possible so that when it's all said and done, you can pull those out and take your conversations offline. So at this point, that concludes what I had to share. I hope it gave you a good idea of getting in, setting things up, engaging and interacting with individuals, and eventually building your connections out. So at this point, Gary, I'm happy to go through questions, answer those, and hear feedback.
Hello, Joel. Thank you very much for your presentation this morning. This is Fallon Cryer. I would like to represent the audience with just a couple of notes that I've taken for frequently asked questions that I wasn't able to address. The first question is, can a representative be attached to multiple exhibitors?
Yes, that is true. An exhibitor can represent different exhibitors.
Thank you, sir. Secondly, with the profile, if we go into one of the company profiles, there's a lot of questions about what is a best practice and how do we make all of our product relevant or product related assets available. Can you talk a little bit about what the best practice is on sharing things like videos, PDFs, and what's the difference between the way that we show them at the company level and at that individual product level?
That's a great question. So what's going to be made available to company profiles is fields for links. And how those will display are embedded. So embedded URLs, for example, if you were a user of YouTube or Vimeo and you had a company video there, you have the ability to just copy the embed code, paste it into one of these fields to display on your company profile throughout the duration of the event. For documents, we don't have a way to upload documents to a company profile. However, we have the ability to have hosted URLs for documents. For example, I have seen people have documents on their web page and copy that link there. I have seen people have documents in Drive or Dropbox and paste that link there. So that journey for the user who finds your company is literally to just go to your company profile, click on, see your video, which will just be embedded on our platform. They won't have to leave to go anywhere else to view it. And then for any documents you have, they just click a link and go straight to another tab pops up and they can take that download away. I hope that's helpful.
Joel, this is Gary. There was a question earlier on that asked, is the company chat session visible to all visitors to the booth, or is it only between that individual and the company?
Great question. It is only between that individual and the company. So their view is going to be seeing this and then sending a message here. So they will see this. The company view will be here, and they will see this. No one else can see it. Whoever is in this area, this team portal, all our team members will see this. That one user won't even see our names. They will just see the company is replying.
Joel, who sees the meeting ratings?
It's a great question. And if I'm not mistaken, all of that is actually saved on the back end. So the users won't see if you said didn't show up, anything of that nature. That is actually saved on the back end for the Apex team organizers.
Joel, there's a question here too. Can you explain the difference between exhibitor and exhibitor representative?
Absolutely. So your exhibit, and that goes into your profile versus your company profile. The exhibitor is the company itself. The exhibitor representative is the people who represent the company. So as you can see here, you see my name, you will see my company linked. You see my company, you see me.
Joel, another question here. Is there a virtual booth that we can design, or is really the company your booth?
The company is your booth. Great question. So yes, that is how to think of it. This will be your booth. So aside from putting your company information here, being able to upload your videos, your documented links, your added company profile info, treat this as your booth. That is how you should treat this when you start uploading those effects here. Not aside from your company profile, but also your chats, things of that nature. This area, think of it as your command control for that booth. And then the front end user, that person who comes there, they see it as this when it's all said and done. So absolutely.
Just a general note, there has been a lot of chat in questions and comments regarding concerns of the number of exhibitor representatives that each company can have in the system. Just wanted to let you all know that show management will be addressing that after this in discussing that further. There's a question here, Joel. Are there any restrictions on video, time limit, or number of links or number of products?
None on video time limit. You can only have one video per that company profile. Unfortunately, our platform just can't support more than one video in that company profile. It'll be the same with those brochure links. You could have one there.
Joel, can you confirm that if an organization places a URL where they've created a custom landing page with as many assets as they want, that they can put that in that company website link and fulfill that need?
Absolutely. We are a house for that URL. So if you do have a URL that goes to a directory of sort or a landing page, absolutely.
Excellent. And we have another question here from Renee. Thank you, Renee, for attending. Can we just take a quick look at the product catalog section of the exhibitor profile and just talk a bit about that functionality?
Awesome. So went back to Teams, company profile. These values here were populated on the back end while us working with the Binance and Apex team to put these values in. So they will always live here in this section. You use this to fill out your profile with more information and to help you get more recommendations and increase searchability in the platform. All of the available options are just going to list one on top of another alphabetically. And this is for what your company provides, the categories people can look to for your company. So you're just scrolling through finding these categories that apply to your company. Whenever you want to add one, you just hit one here, hit the plus on it, and then you're just adding these to your profile one by one. So these will show up for you in this area right here. They will also physically display for people when they go to your company profile. And our system knows that you put that in there, and we're taking that into effect as we recommend more people for you.
Joel and everybody, we had a question come in and just wanted to clarify that regarding media, that media is in the profile. They will be seen as attendees. Just wanted to let you know that. We've had a couple of questions come in regarding the company profiles. We are asking that profiles be completed by October 1st on October 1st. Joel, what is the process for making any changes after October 1st to a company profile?
It's going to be readily changeable. It's best to have it set in place prior, just so you're acclimated with it. But when you do want to make edits, again, this is your booth, so they kind of think of this like making physical changes. You do have the ability to go in here and say, wait, we put the wrong service in here. Let's just confirm we have the right services. Same thing with your uploads, things of that nature. The sooner the better, once it's configurable, but you can go in and edit and make sure that the right links are in, the right things are in. We won't lock it so that you can't make changes to it.
So you will hear more from Kelly as we're done with the questions here. But the attendees will start getting access the week just after October 1st. So that's why we're asking all of those profiles to be done and completed. So as attendees come in, they at least have something to look at. So future changes certainly can be made, but we want to make sure that the attendees have a good experience once they first enter. We've had a couple of questions also, Joel, coming in that would you mind going over adding videos and the product images once again?
So in Teams, there will be an additional field. It'll be in your company profile. There will be an additional field in your company profile for embedding a video. You will be able to upload your company profile, and you will be able to see fields for additional collateral, website, brochure, things of that nature. Products, anything related to products and services, you will utilize the fields for your metadata, so choosing what you offer here. You could potentially also use one of the fields to link out to an offering or to a page that lists what you have for products. But the fields will live in your company profile. You'll just go in and push that out. Just paste, copy and paste in here.
We have a question here from Ashley. What if our category is not listed? That we're a very specialized kind of product for automotive stores.
Say that one more time. I'm sorry, Tom, could you repeat that?
Sorry, sir. What if the category is not listed for a particular organization? Is there an escalation path?
That's a very interesting question. Well, I'll say things that the user themselves could take advantage of. Let's say that was not available. That you would have the ability to add it to that company profile. Let's just say an example for the headline. But if you didn't want to do that, you didn't want to just put a random product in your headline to have it there, you could escalate that to us. Any changes related to that, though, aren't owned solely by GRIP. they are owned by the AAPEX team as well, just to make sure that what people can view is what the AAPEX team wanted. So that is something we would have to discuss with them just in case we were missing anything. I say short term, you could pull in, probably put something in your summary or your headline. Long term, big picture, we would have to consult with the AAPEX team, BDAN team, to make sure everything was on set.
Yeah, and to further that with Joel, with show management can get it listed.
Okay.
I have another question, and I think if you could just talk to it, would be super beneficial. When we think about getting the best out of this platform, let's talk about the technology that every individual needs. What do you need to participate in video meetings? And specifically, is there a dial-in option, or do we all need to be using a device that has microphone and camera capabilities?
That's a great question. So you will need to use a device that has AV capabilities. There isn't a dial-in option available. So for sure, best use laptop experience or mobile experience, anything that has some kind of audio that's ready and video that's ready and set to go. In terms of video functionality, I always go into device and browser requirements. The more modern, the better. For browsers, Chrome or Firefox, we highly recommend them. I've seen this work on others as well, like Internet Explorer. Just make sure they're fully updated, so there's no issues with that. And then lastly, permissions. For those of you who've never used Grip or this embedded software for using that, just making sure your browser security isn't blocking you from taking part in this. But no dial-in, it will all take place through audio and visual here on this page. Make sure your browsers are updated, checking security settings just in case anything gets blocked. And yeah, modern updates, that's all I can say.
Thank you, Joel. And I've got just a couple more questions. One here is it possible for exhibitors to create profiles for their individual products and then link them back to their company?
So can they create products and link them to their company?
Yes.
Okay, at this point, the data types we have don't involve products. We'd have to consult with show management about that to see if that, as of now, it's just company profile.
Okay, understood. Thank you. As we know, many of the people on the call today, their organizations have purchased sponsorship. Can you please give us just a whirlwind tour of where some of that will show up for attendees in the application? So where will we see them promoted in the different parts of the platform?
Great, I would love to show you that. So what I'm gonna do is now show you where you can sponsor. So what I did was set Grip up as a sponsor, just to give you those examples. One, this area right here, we call this our sidebar. So if you want it to be featured here, show management enables that on the back end, and you will show up here right here. Multiple companies can be displayed here. It interchanges, so it goes through every few seconds, as you can see. So if there are different companies here, they do rotate in a nice enough fashion for everyone to be able to see it. If someone's down here, we want the user to see this, see it catch their eye, and then jump to your profile from here. Another option is going to be featured. So we can have this button display on your profile. If it does, no matter where people find you, it will always show up as featured. Other exhibitors won't have it. It'll only show up for the people who this is affixed for. Lastly, I was talking about lists in the platform. Every list displays in alphabetical order. If we affix you to show up at top of the list, you always appear here at the top. No matter what part of the alphabet your company is in, If you're fixed to show up at the top, you're always here, regardless of if the person viewing has already interacted with your company. This isn't the recommendations list, you disappear, so you always show up there. There's always a gap. Underneath the gap, it goes back to alphabetical order. So top of the list means you always show up at the top when people go through the exhibitor list. Featured icon will always appear. That's another one. The second one is featured icon. This is always going to appear next to your name. And then lastly, appearing in the sidebar that will rotate throughout the event, being one of the companies that showcases there. End goal for all of these is for people to see you, click on your profile, and interact with it. As people do click and view in your profile, that does show up as an inbound lead for you. So the more viewership, the better.
We are coming up to the top of the hour here, and I want to be sensitive to everybody's time. Joel, if there was not anything else right now, thank you very much. And then I think moving on, I think Kelly, you had a few words for the audience as a wrap up.
Absolutely. Thanks, Gary. So first, I'd like to thank Gary and Fallon for monitoring all of those group chat questions. Also, Joel, thank you so much for the training. So a couple little housekeeping notes. On Thursday, October 1st, we're going to have office hours. We'll let you know the time for that. We will be sending a follow-up email with supporting documentation. That's going to be emailed to you all on Monday. One thing to be sure of, we do have exhibitor training Thursday, October 1st at 3 p.m. Eastern time with Robin. You should have received an email from AAPEX yesterday on that. Please let us know if you need that resent. And on behalf of Auto Care Association and ASA, thank you all for taking the time today to go through training to ask your questions. We really appreciate your continued support with AAPEX, and we're looking for a great virtual AAPEX experience for all of you.